Hope everybody's ready. Got Pack Your Bag show today.
Yay! It is Friday's Eve. It's Friday's Eve.
Yes. You already know Friday's Eve. One of the best days of the week. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of What's Up People News. And the day before the best day of the week, Friday, you know. Before we actually get and start the show and all of that, Nor'easter's coming, people.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I hope y'all went out there, got your food, your things like that. It's only gonna be a couple days, but you know, just make sure you got everything.
The whole weekend. The whole weekend. Massachusetts, anyway. I don't know about anyone else, but Massachusetts. Hopefully, it misses us.
Right?
Hopefully.
I hope.
But get your groceries, but don't get your groceries on tomorrow because that is when I'm going. Or if you're gonna go and get your groceries tomorrow, please don't go at around between 3:30 and 5:30. Do it before or after, because that's when
right. And it's sometimes better to go on the late night anyway, because then nobody's really in there.
That is true. That is true. That are empty.
Right? Go about 30 minutes before it closes. As long as you know what you want. Just don't be going down the aisle with your cart. Like, Go in there with your plan already together. Get your stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Get out. All right. We got people in the building. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Well, welcome everybody to a new episode of What's Up People News. I am Aaron Casey.
I'm Lana Quest. Hey.
Yes. Hey. And if this is your first time, thank you. We are a local online news show. We talk about local, national, and international news. So we are ready to get this show started. But before we do, we always like to give a shout out to the usual suspects. Yes. You guys make this show happen, along with one of YouTube's best moderators in the building. Give it up for Miss Michelle. She be doing her thing. Y'all already know. But with that being said, I'm gonna pass it off to Miss Quest.
Well, we do have a great show in store for you on today. We got a little SCOTUS news. Great news. And I also hear that exercising a few minutes a day can give you some heart healthiness. We'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, we will see. In New York over there doing some things for the food workers. So stay tuned, everyone. And you heard we're having a snowstorm on the East Coast. I don't know how far, but we're getting it here in Massachusetts. I think they're getting it further down 95 south a little bit.
Right.
Maybe Philly will probably get it as well.
Right. DC. So people in Philly, hope y'all get y'all stuff together because it's already cold. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already get snow as it is, but on top of this, hope y'all got y'all stuff. I remember before I actually get into the quick news, a couple years ago, it was snowing in June. Like that's how bad it was.
There was one in April. Well, I don't remember June. I do remember like April Fools. April Fools, we got a snowstorm. Yeah, we got and then the next day it was like 60 degrees or something like that.
It was crazy. I was like, wait, what is going on right now? But anyway, enough with the weather because that's enough with the weather. We just gonna jump right into it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. As you know, we always start the show off with some quick news. I'm gonna just get right into it. All the stuff that we talk about, you can find in the description after the show so you guys can read up, do your own research. We always advocate for that. Yes, we're going to bring you the news. We're going to bring you information, our perspective. But it's always good to read it, watch the video yourself, because you may have a difference of opinion. Mm-hmm. You may catch something that we didn't. And so that might change your idea on the topic or whatever. So it's always good. Do your own research but we're here to help in part of your research. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. This first one, I heard about this story before, but I didn't know all the details. They actually made a documentary like on PBS or I think the History Channel a couple of years ago. So that's how I'm familiar with this. But Leonard Peltier, he is America's first American prisoner, like political prisoner. Back in the 80s, he was part of, first, let me just say, he was a Native American activist, just kind of like what's going on. I think it was in Black Rock, where the Native Americans were trying to stop the pipeline and things like that. He was doing something like that, but for the woods in the area, because it was sacred land, things like that. But the FBI, the government, they wanted to use that land for something else. And this was kind of like a Waco type situation where the FBI and things came in and just stormed. Anyway, I don't want to get into detail because this is quick news. But he's been in jail for 3 decades. There's some things happening. Cases starting to get more attention again. So please check that article out. Very interesting. Again, he was the first American political prisoner. He was standing up for the people, his people, the Native Americans, for their land, things like that. So definitely check that out. Moving right along, getting into the workout. Yes, people, a quick 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
The time it takes for Casey to do the quick news.
Exactly. But a quick 10 minutes a day can definitely help in your longevity, helps with you inside, makes you feel good. But I'll have the article. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, put the article up because 10 minutes ain't.
It's just part of it. If you just do it, 10 minutes, it's the same time it probably takes to make a cup of coffee. Take it out, put it in, let it do its thing. 10 minutes, boom, you're done.
So you can get busy for 10 minutes, and that's like some exercise and you keep you healthy.
Hey, it burns calories.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to count to your steps, but
right. Exactly. Well, I mean,
well, it could, but we won't get into that.
What you doing? What you over there doing, Casey? What the heck? Casey's like, I'm putting my Timbs on. I'm going to
right along here. We're going to move right along. This is for people in the state of Massachusetts, specifically the Boston area. If you yourself, or if you know somebody who doesn't have a lot of food or can't get to the store, things like that, because of just whatever, and because of what's going on this weekend, the Violence in Boston Inc., their headquarters every Wednesday and Friday from 12 to 4, they have an open food pantry. So you can go there, get some food, feed your family, yourself, or someone you know, things like that. They're in the community. Ms. Grant, she tries her best to do what she can to help out. This is just part of it. So if you definitely need to get something to eat, just, again, yourself, somebody in your friends, your family, she does have that open again. It's every Wednesday and Friday. So it's open tomorrow from 12 to 4. And the address is 96 Business Street, Hyde Park. And again, I'll make sure to have this specifically in the description with the address so you guys can take advantage of that. Moving right along, I seen this article on CNN. It kind of tripped me out. But a guy by the name of Pat McCrory, I'm horrible with names. Pat McCrory compares not getting a job at Duke University as the same as segregation. The 1960 segregation. He's saying he's being segregated. He can't work at this particular place. And he's saying that's segregation. Maybe you weren't qualified. Maybe you didn't have the right personality, maybe, to be a professor and teach students. future leaders and business people.
Let me guess. Let me guess. He's white.
Yep.
Okay. I was just making sure. Just making sure. Wasn't sure.
Yo, like it's how let's read the article. It's crazy people. And then lastly, let me just double check real quick. Actually, I have two more, then I'll pass the mic off. Right now, of course, you know, there's COVID out there, the Omicron, however you pronounce it. It's still going out there. Again, like we say, if you can get vaccinated, please do it yourself. If you can get your kids vaccinated, please do it. You know, if you don't, please wear a mask, but we highly, highly, highly recommend that you do it. Anyway, with that being said, Cuba is making their vaccine, and they're actually trying to give it out to the global south, the whole, all the other countries that can't afford the Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, because, you know, they're being stingy and want to hold it, even though the public is the one that gave them the money to do it. Anyway, we won't get into that. But Cuba is doing their vaccine, their COVID-19 vaccine, and they're going to make sure that 95% of the stuff that they, I guess the code or whatever they need to create it, they're going to give it to other countries that desperately need it. So that's something to big Cuba up, despite all the embargoes and things like that. Cuba does have some high quality doctors and hospitals, despite everything that's going on. And this is just, you know, kind of, hey, we're here, we're trying to help out. So that's something to check out. And lastly, I just thought this was kind of clever. This was funny. I should have told, Lon doesn't even know about this, but recently a grandmother got some scammers arrested. She finessed some scammers. She was like, oh, yeah, they called her up, tried to pretend, they tried to scam her. They actually showed up to her house. She finessed them. It's a great story. She gave them the 1-2. So big up to the Miss Grandma.
Granny. Go on, Granny.
She finessed the finesses. Like she gave them the work. It's a funny story. But again, everything that we talk about, y'all can check in the description. With that being said, take it away.
Oh, I have a couple more for quick news, real quick.
All right, go right ahead.
So
let them know.
If you haven't ordered your vaccine kits, order your vaccine kits. I got mine in the mail, I believe yesterday. So it literally did take, I think, like 7 days. So if you haven't done it, go on and do it. They're not going to run out of them. There must be an abundance of kits because, and I say that because my kid, my 13-year-old, I just got an email where you can opt in to, she already gets tested at school like on Mondays or something like that. She's in a pool of kids that get tested. But they also, you can opt in to test them at home on Friday evenings. So you know what their status is by Monday when they come in. So she's getting tested twice. But here's the thing. They're sending kits home. So they're sending kits home for the weekend. Either Casey is like, oh, you froze for a minute. Yeah.
There we go. We're back.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, we just froze.
Yeah. Maybe I did too. But yeah, so they're sending kits home with the kids. So they're sending them so they can test. Nice. So there must be like a whole bunch of these kits. It's so funny how there were no kits and now there's an abundance of these test kits. That's
all over the place.
Right? We
ordered ours. We're still waiting.
You should get
come
it
in the mail. We should be getting ours either tomorrow or sometime next week. So if you can get them, get them. If you go to your local CVS, because we actually bought some from CVS, the at-home kit takes about 15 minutes. You do a regular, nose swab, and you put in a little device, and it gives you a positive or negative. So if you can't get one, go to CVS because they may have their version of it.
Absolutely. Also, the interest rates are going up. don't cry, don't scream. I know people are going to be like, oh my God, Obama. Probably say Obama too. Everybody will say it's Obama.
Right? They'll find a way to blame him.
It's Obama, it's Biden. They have to do this to control the inflation that is going on. I've been trying to like look it up and try to understand and get it simplified on like how this helps and how we got here. So we are having a hard time with inflation right now. And inflation started because of the pandemic, right? People were losing their jobs, people were losing their houses, people were struggling. So what this administration did was they injected an economy that had nothing with money, right? And they dropped interest rates to zero. So they dropped the interest rates, then they injected a ton of money because people were struggling. You know, you got your relief, we got the money every month, like money was coming in, the unemployment, it was extra. So now
taxes was coming out at that same time as well.
Exactly, right. So now the economy has an abundance of money in it. And now people are going back to shopping. They're going back to buying things up again. We didn't even have all the supplies needed with all the people who are buying everything up because now they have the money and they're buying extra now. So that's why there's supply shortages as well. That's why there is inflation. That's why prices are up because we don't have the goods anymore. They can't supply the goods fast enough anymore because there was so much money that came into the economy all at once. No one could have predicted it. People were hurting and actually needed it, but this is how it happens. So now they have to raise the interest rates back up incrementally to try to balance it back out. It will get better. So that means that, you know, the prices of some of the goods will eventually come down, but it will take some time. So be patient. I know you guys like to be like, Biden, bye. So, but this is why it has to happen. And that's it.
and of course, don't forget, you know, we're still waiting off the coast of California. There's still ships out there with a lot of supplies, things that people order from overseas, the overseas equipment, parts, textiles needed to manufacture more products.
Right.
So that also plays into it as well. So again, just like you said, yes, things are going to go up, you know, but there are legit reasons why. And once, you know, the cargo ships can start docking and unloading, and there are a lot of ships out there. I think there's about 85 to about 90, maybe even 100 ships out there. And each ship holds what, over 1,000, maybe even 1,000,000 containers. All those containers contain food, products, like I said, textiles, things that we need. So once those start coming in, just like you said, it's going to take some time. They're going to start going up incrementally, just so we don't go crazy and default and go bankrupt like that. So just be patient. Things will get better. So yeah, no. I just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, we're gonna play a game. Yeah, let's do quotes and questions.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Are you ready, Casey? Have you paid attention? Is everybody ready?
I have as much as I could. You guys know.
It's cool. So let's go. So this is gonna be a combination of quotes and questions. So the first quote is, it goes back to what they did with the M&Ms, and now they are making her more masculine. When I say M&Ms, I mean the candy. So it goes back to what they did with the M&M candies, and now they are making her more masculine. Okay. Now, do you need to know who her is? Oh, you know.
I think I know. Okay. I know what they're talking about, and I think I know who the person is. I think.
Okay, so let's wait.
Repeat the question one more time for the people who are just now might be coming in or want to hear the question or who don't know what the question is.
Okay. The quote is, it goes back to what they did with the M&Ms. Now they are making her more masculine. It goes back to what they did with the M&Ms, and now they are making her more masculine. Tuckums is close. So just
Oh, that was my guess.
yeah,
That was my
no,
guess.
no.
All right, there was
So they're talking about Minnie Mouse.
oh, they're talking about Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, it goes back to what they did with the M&Ms, and now they're making her more masculine, her being Minnie Mouse.
Oh, I thought they was talking about the green M&M, but they were referring to that.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
then I don't.
First they started with the M&Ms, and now they're messing around with Minnie, and somebody is upset about this. Somebody's very upset about this. Not Hannity. Okay, I'll help. This person is Black.
Oh, Scott. The Scott guy, the Black Senator Scott.
It's a woman.
Oh,
Black
it's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, someone said Glenn Beck. I can.
Glenn Beck is a Black woman on some days, I guess. Mm-hmm. No, don't be lost. Okay. Last hint. She's edgeless.
She's edgeless.
Yeah, yes,
Black
exactly.
lady.
Kundance. That's it.
Wow.
Yes. She's
wow.
Candy Kundis. I like both of those. She is upset because they put a pantsuit on Minnie Mouse. Not forever, just temporarily. They want to change it up. She doesn't always have to wear a dress. Minnie Mouse can wear a pantsuit and be a boss bee. Like, why she always gotta have on a dress? So Candace Owens is upset that they're making Minnie Mouse masculine because I guess masculine people wear pantsuits. Like I've seen Candace in plenty of pantsuits, so that's just really odd. But yeah, she's just upset about everything. And the Republicans are floating around the idea of Candace being SCOTUS. So
I saw that. I thought that was fake news. They really believe that?
I think they're just saying it. I'm like, they think Black people are interchangeable. It's like, oh, y'all want a Black woman? Here's one. Like, duh, she ain't Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, what would qualify her? Has she been a lawyer? Has she fought any cases?
They're not saying that seriously. They're just saying that they're trying to be funny because he's doing a Black woman. So they're like, oh, if he's just going to pull any Black woman, he can pull that one. Like, it's just so dumb. So let's go. Let's move on. Who suggested that President Biden and Vice President Harris should step down regarding their handling of Ukraine? Scrotus.
Say that one more time.
Scrotus. No, I know you weren't talking about that. Oh my God. Every time I say SCOTUS, I'm gonna think of Scrotus. That's so weird.
Y'all are wild. I dig it.
Who suggested that Biden and Harris step down regarding their handling of Ukraine? This person worked in the Trump administration on foreign policy.
Trump administration, foreign policy.
Mm-hmm. Everybody. Trump administration, foreign policy. She's a woman. Well, maybe some presidential prospects. Republican, of course. She worked for Trump. It's a woman. She worked with foreign policy. She was the head of something. It's candy for Scrotus. Yeah, she worked. I don't know her exact position, but it was a big position. And she actually stepped down before Trump's presidency ended. She stepped down and she took a job.
That was transportation.
Somewhere else. Is there like a foreign
Um,
policy advisor? Because maybe that was who she was or something like that.
I see her face. I know exactly who you're talking
Her
about.
name rhymes with I was gonna say Dickie Maley.
Nikki Haley. Yes. Yeah, she definitely gonna put her hat in for 2024.
Yes. Yeah. Good job, guys. Infinite got it. He said Nikki Haley, and I didn't have to give him the hint of Nikki Haley. Infinite, where were you last week? Casey did your story and everything, and you weren't even there. FYI.
Hey, I'm not saying nothing.
The truth. He's like, do the
Uh,
story, but I'm not gonna be here. I'm just letting them know that you fulfilled the wishes. Like he asked, you did the story and he wasn't there, but you did. That's what What's Up People News does. We fulfill what you guys asked for. So,
yeah.
all right. And
And
actually,
again, I'll definitely have a follow up with that once more information comes out. But go ahead.
So, question that is connected to the last quote.
Okay.
If President Biden and VP Harris did step down or were to step down as Nikki Haley or Dickie Maley suggested, who is next in line? Who's next in line to the presidency?
That would be Pelosi and Schumer.
Yes, Pelosi is next in line. So like Nikki Haley out here saying step down, and why? So Pelosi can be the president? Like, do y'all really think about what you're saying? Probably not. They
don't. That'll be wild though. Pelosi and Schumer as president and VP.
Right.
Yo,
two more old people.
I think we would get a lot of things like, yo, that'll be wild. That'll be wild.
Oh, now they're guessing. Oh, see, you have to not guess so fast. You're gonna know this next one, but don't say anything. So what streaming app sided with Joe Rogan over a popular artist this week? What streaming app sided with Joe Rogan, the conspiracy theorist, over a popular artist this week? What streaming app? What streaming
I know
app?
this one.
Yes, Spotify. See, Michelle Porter was on here. Michelle Porter be like, oh my God. Sporify. Yes, Sporify. Yes, Spotify. Next, there is no need to rush the nomination for Supreme Court Justice. I will give you a hint. This person talks out of both sides of her mouth. She is a senator and she is a Republican. There is no need to rush the nomination for Supreme Court Justice. I gave you a lot of hints.
You did.
There is no need to rush the nomination for Supreme Court Justice. No need. She's a woman, because I'm saying she. She's a senator. She talks out of both sides of her mouth. Liz Cheney is, she's not a senator. Liz Cheney's in the House. I wish Liz was a senator. That would probably solve a little bit of our problems. Maybe. Murkowski is close. The other one. Yes, Susan Collins. That's it. Good job, guys. You guys are really good.
Hey.
Here's a tough one. How many parties has Boris Johnson had during the lockdown?
I'm gonna say at least 6.
Nope, more than that. But I'm gonna let everybody else guess. How many parties has Boris had during the lockdown? Boris Johnson.
And he needs to stop.
And maybe he is now, since everyone is talking about him.
Yo, that's I heard somebody compare him to what the governor of California did when he went to his little wine party in the
Yeah, but
cave or
he
whatever.
didn't. I mean, Boris is out here like like this partying like it's 1999. What's going on?
Ain't nothing out here. Ain't nothing out here. We about to get it.
More than 11.
You said
Less
that's what
than
they talking
less
about.
than 20, more than 11. Even number. Less than
14.
20, more than 11. Very close. More than 12, less than 18.
16.
16.
Man, this man was partying, y'all.
Like, how did I even know that? That's so funny. I mean, not funny, but that's crazy.
They must have been getting them party must have been lit though, man. 16?
Right.
Dang.
Right. All right. So what state canceled a lecture on civil rights this week?
Repeat that one more time.
What state canceled a lecture that was going to be given on civil rights? It happened in what state? Let's say that. The canceling of a civil rights lecture by a professor happened in what state?
I have an idea because I think I remember hearing about that.
Let's give them a minute to. Yes. What state? Texas is very close. It's the other Texas, I think.
It's the other one.
It's the other Texas. Y'all know the other Texas. Oh my God. Yes.
Florida.
It's Florida.
Florida.
It's gonna happen in all of those states if it hasn't happened. He's absolutely right. He's like Texas, Florida, Mississippi, North Carolina, Bama. All right. Last question. What state has a tip line? Let me expand on that. If you are unhappy about Black history and it makes you uncomfortable, you can call a tip line. What state has a tip line for this?
Hold on, let me go back to the couple that was just like let me go back to let me that's my answer right there.
If you're feeling fragile, that your children are learning about Martin Luther King or Harriet Tubman or any Black history, or if you're sitting up in a diversity and inclusion meeting at work and it's making you feel uncomfortable, you can just call the tip line. In what state? Crazy. The other Texas.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
So this state just got a new governor.
Just got a new governor. Oh,
give them a minute.
He looked like a villain.
Yeah, let them guess. If I give another hint, you're gonna know.
He looked like a villain, y'all. That's my hint.
He does look like a villain, like from Batman or something.
He do. He looked like a villain
Georgia.
from Batman.
They just got a new governor.
He just got in, and that was
Oh
the
my
first
God,
thing he
Infinite.
did.
Oh. Okay, here's the last hint. His name is the opposite of old. The governor
I
of the
think
state. Yes, Virginia.
we got Virginia in the building.
Youngkin is the guy.
And that's crazy because as soon as he got in, that was the first thing he did. Like,
that is the
wow.
first thing that he did. Thank you guys for
Nice.
playing. That was awesome. That was funny.
That was funny. That was funny. You guys rock, man. The usual suspects. Again, first we just want to say, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, spending your evening with us, getting this information. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for stopping by. So with that being said, I'm gonna get into my couple quick little topics. These first two are I'm gonna just get into it.
Jump on in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. This is kind of it just shows how there's so much more work we have to do when it comes to law enforcement. And it comes to a point to where it's not even training. It's the people. It's the individuals, because for both of these cases, law enforcement dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. They didn't do what they were supposed to. They didn't notify the family in a timely manner. It's just heartbreaking. And again, these two cases, they're different, but the similarities when it comes to law enforcement and the inept that was taken, is just like, wow. But I'm gonna just get into it just like Ms. Quest said. So the first one is dealing with a lady by the name of Elizabeth Santos. And unfortunately, she was found deceased in Anchorage, Alaska, stabbed more than 10 times. Like, just it was rage, as they said. Like, it's heartbreaking that. So anyway, it's just heartbreaking. So let me just get quick information. Again, the lady's name was Elizabeth Santos. She was visiting Anchorage, Alaska. She was actually from the state.
Oh, she was a visitor. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was visiting. One of her friends from college was working out there. And right now, part of the narrative that's kind of out there, they're saying her ex-boyfriend might have had something to do with it. But when it comes to law enforcement, they didn't really do anything. They didn't ask any questions. They just, oh, hey, there goes a dead body. It's a Black girl. She's not from here. Ain't no more we could do about the situation. But again, she's from the States. 10 days before she left to go to Anchorage, Alaska, she broke up with her boyfriend. They weren't doing too well. They were always arguing, things like that. And one of her friends, when they were talking to reporters and things like that, they said she actually went there to clear her head, to just kind of, I need to think and, kind of decompress and get herself together. She was only there for not even a couple days. And then her friend that she was going to see started asking around, like, hey, what's going on? Da, da, da. And it's just, that's when they found her a couple days later, again, stabbed up 10 times. Like, certain things were missing from her person. Like, it's just a sad story. And again, the police in the situation really didn't do anything. They didn't notify the family. It was actually one of the friends. It's a whole crazy situation. And the crazy thing about it, when they found her, she was handcuffed. Like, she was handcuffed to a stretcher.
Wow.
Like that right there, you know, should warrant, hey, what this isn't normal, regardless if she wasn't from the state or not. Like you have this horrific murder in front of you and you're not doing anything about it.
Right.
Like you just, well, she's not from here, so you know, ain't too much we could do. It's just a horrible situation. Again, the lady's name is Elizabeth Santos. She was actually from the state of Florida.
Wow.
Her friend's name, I'm sorry, the friend she was visiting, her name was Lizette Hungland Hall. So they was out there just, you know, hanging out. A couple of days later, this is how they found her. And it's just, where were the police? How come we're just now, I don't hear this on the news. Like I found this just doing research for another story. How come this isn't all over the news? This American person found murdered in Alaska?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of questions haven't been answered. And I'll make sure you guys get more information about that, and I'll keep you guys updated. The next one is a little more, it's been getting a lot more coverage lately. I heard about this maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. If you guys don't know, of course, I'm going to get right into it. The passing of Laura Smithfield. She was a 23-year-old, beautiful, beautiful Black girl from Connecticut. For people in Massachusetts, that's right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it really got me like frustrated, got me angry. And again, we definitely need to have, I mean, if the training's needed, something has to be done with local law enforcement. Something has to be done because this is just uncalled for. So let me get right into it. Again, her name is Laura Smithfield. She was 23 years old. A gentleman called local law enforcement in Connecticut, reported the situation, and then let the person go. There was clearly a dead body in the apartment. She passed away in her home. Hold on, I'm just going through my notes. She was found in her home. The cops let the person go, and when they told the family asked, "How come you didn't, you know, put him in custody?" Ask him some questions. Their reasoning was, "Oh, he seemed like a good person." So a person reported a murder. There's a dead body in the house, and the police just said, "Oh, because you seem like a good person, we're just going to let you go." I never heard of that before, especially when somebody's reporting something like that. They didn't ask them any questions. They just let them go. The family didn't find out about their daughter being passing until the landlord told them. Not the police. They didn't go to the family's home. They didn't make a phone call. They didn't do anything. The landlord told the mother that her daughter passed away. Again, what is law enforcement doing? They didn't do anything because she was a Black girl. Like, what is that? That's, I mean, it's just horrific. But anyway, the mother was calling numerous times to get information. There was no investigation. And one of the detectives that was supposed to be on the case told the mother, stop calling, like just outright. Now, if they had done an investigation and they were still going about it, even then you don't say that. But the fact that you guys didn't do anything, they didn't do nothing. The mom went to the house, you know, devastated, cleaned up, took some evidence, like just cleaned up the house, you know, just in general. Cops came back like a week later to try to find evidence and then start the investigation, but they didn't do it that night. Like this is uncalled for, you know. If this was, you know, a white lady, they would have had a full investigation that night. The person that called it in, they would have had him in for questioning. they would have started the investigation that night. It took them almost a week and a half, 2 weeks to start this investigation. And the fact that just over the past couple days, you're starting to hear about it when this happened back in December, like
Right.
the beginning of December.
So, right. They had an autopsy, right, though?
The family
Right.
had to do an autopsy because the law enforcement didn't want to do anything with the body. They found like alcohol and some type of substance. They're still trying to figure out
Fentanyl.
what the substance is.
Yeah,
Fentanyl.
it
That's
was
what that was.
fentanyl and some other drugs, right? So the police did a whole bunch of stuff wrong. Like, you don't, if they said he's a nice guy, like all of that is ridiculous. But I can see why they didn't hold him if they questioned him, because if there's no probable cause, you can't arrest anybody. Like, you can ask him some questions. And, of course, if he was Black, they probably would have treated him differently, but that would have been wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so even if he was Black and then they took him down and like arrested him, that still would have been wrong if you don't have any probable cause, because if it looks like an OD, which I'm not saying it was, because I don't know. We don't know.
But that's what the dude who called said. And
that's what it looks like. They both could have been literally doing drugs. Like he said, he was like, we had some sex, we did some drugs, we watched some movies. I went to the door. Somebody rang the doorbell. She said it was her brother. She went outside. She got something. She came back. She went into the bathroom. She came out. We watched some more movies. We fell asleep. When I looked at her, she was bleeding out of her nose, and that's when I called the cops. Kind of sounds like it could have happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do we? So if he wanted to murder her, why is he still there? Like, why is he calling? And why would he murder her with like fentanyl? He's like, here, I'm gonna give you these drugs. So you just snort. Like,
yeah.
Like, what did he? If he didn't murder, he would have asked and went and got a knife off the kid.
Right?
Like, it just didn't seem like the way the cops handled it. You're absolutely right. That's why the family's probably more angry than anything, because they absolutely probably should have taken him down to the station, asked them more questions. But to them, it probably looked like these two people were doing some drugs. And she OD'd on it. And that's what all the celebrities are getting in trouble with that now too. They're ODing on that stuff accidentally. I did read that, the autopsy showed that it was an accidental intoxication, whatever. The family's
I heard that.
Yeah, the family's not happy with it, and they want another one done. I mean, she's beautiful too.
It's just a really sad situation all around.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And you did bring up a good point, though. That was an excellent point, and I have to agree with that. It's if they don't have probable cause, and it, the evidence may point to an unfortunate OD. Yeah, there really isn't.
It's not much they can do with that. Like, if it doesn't, and I'm not saying he didn't do it. Like, we don't do what though? I mean, he may, what he may be guilty of? He could have been guilty of bringing bad drugs. He could have been guilty of buying bad drugs, which is a crime too. Like, somebody was in possession of these drugs. So having these drugs is a crime unless he didn't have any in his system. And did they even test him? Like, see, all of that is some murky stuff. The murder, but I don't, it's a lot. And I understand why they want answers, because what happens in these instances too is that because police don't investigate when people of color, when indigenous, when we go missing, because they label us runaways, or if we end up dead or in some alley, they just don't treat us the same. That's why something like this that could just be an accidental death becomes explosive, because y'all haven't been treating us right in the very beginning. So of course we're going to feel like this. Of course, because you're right. Just like you said, if that was a black man, they probably would have taken his ass down to the station, fingerprinted him, made him pee in a cup, and would have arrested him and said, "You sold it to this white girl," right? Like they would have made it something instead of saying, "Go home, you're a good guy." How the fuck is he a good guy when you didn't met someone off a Bumble and you came and had some sex with a stranger and apparently y'all were doing some drugs? Like what
right?
You a good guy,
and a person passes from that. The person you went to go see ends up,
all strange.
It's a strange story, and again, the overall thing I wanted to say is that the police have to do a better job. They have to take all this stuff seriously. There shouldn't, of course, it's going to take time to figure out who did it, but the way things happen in both of these cases shouldn't have went down the way they did. They should have followed protocol.
Right. You didn't even call the parents. Like, how are you not calling any relatives when that right there is just kind of, are we serious? Or you didn't call nobody? I mean, y'all didn't have
you couldn't just pick up the phone, even if you didn't want to go.
But so if the landlord was able to call the family members, then the cops could have been, even if they can't get into her phone, because that's a whole thing where they can't get into these phones. The landlord, her address, her license, her ID, like what happened to this stuff? That's very odd and awful. That's awful. So sorry. Yeah,
and again, I had to talk about it. Again, I want to tie it into the police. Both of these situations are sad, heavy topics. A lot of information is still developing, still coming out. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. And lastly, as you know, a lot of stuff is going on in Russia and Ukraine, all of that. So what I did was I just put together a real quick, brief kind of like, what happened? How did it all start? So basically everything started with Russia invading Crimea. This took place in 2014, the annexation of Crimea. Vladimir Putin said that sent Russian troops in the Crimea into the peninsula were aimed to ensure proper conditions for people of Crimea to be able to freely express themselves. They could express themselves as long as they did it for Russia, all of that. They were like, all this other stuff y'all talking about, we ain't having that.
Right.
They were also, Ukraine and other nations argued that such an intervention is a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. They was like, yo, Russia, you can't do this. We're our own nation. We can talk, do whatever we want. Russia was like, nah. Vladimir Putin was like, yeah, we're going to shut that down.
And Ukraine is huge. Ukraine is a big nation.
Massive.
Yeah,
that is massive. And, Russia sent some of its people to live in Ukraine. It's a very complicated issue just so that they can have Russian sympathizers in Ukraine that will be like, well, they're Ukraine citizens. They can, they like what we're talking about, but it's almost like sleeper cells. Like they don't know that they're from Russia, but they live anyway. It's complicated. It's complicated. But what started the conflict between Russia and Ukraine? Currently, the two countries are engaged in the Russo-Ukraine war, which started again back in 2014, following the Russian annexation of Crimea from Ukraine. The Russian government feared Ukraine's membership of the EU and into NATO. That's a big issue because Russia would think that if Ukraine got into NATO, they would get cut off from the Black Sea. And when that comes into like transportation and products and all of that, they was like, we don't want that. Ukraine was like, yo, we want that. We want protection. We want to be, part of the progressive global community. We don't want to be not pigeonholed, but off in the corner by ourselves. They didn't want that. They want to be part of the global community. Russia was like, nope, not happening. We don't want that because they were fearful. Anyway, why was Was Ukraine ever part of Russia? After World War II, the western part of Ukraine merged into the Ukraine Soviet Socialistic Republic. The whole country became part of the Soviet Union. Ukraine gained its independence, or when the Soviet Union fell, in 1991, following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, which I just said. Next, when did Ukraine separate from Russia? Again, Ukraine officially declared itself an independent country August 24th, 1991. So I'm just kind of giving you a timeline of what happened, why they leave, how, and again, how we got here. So let me continue. When the communist Soviet Russia of Ukraine proclaimed that, when we can't do it no more, they dissolved, that's when Ukraine became its own country. What happened to Crimea? Because that's part of how everything started. Right. Russia formally annexed Crimea on March 18th, incorporating the Republic of Crimea and the federal. Yeah, I'm not good with Russian names, people.
Oh no.
It's Sevastopol. Sevastopol. Y'all know I'm sorry. Russian people that's watching, I'm sorry. I'm horrible. Anyway, once Russia tried to take over Ukraine, that became their 84th and 85th state, kind of like how we got 50 states. Again, Russia, Ukraine, massive. Let's see. Moving forward, what started the Ukraine conflict? The crisis began on November 21st, 2013, when the president, Viktor Yanukovych, suspended preparations for the implementation of the association. Basically, just to sum it all up, he was like, yo, Ukraine, you're not going into EU, you're not going into NATO. So he came in, broke all that up. Here we are today. Right now, Russia and Ukraine, they did say they wanted to do a ceasefire. That is happening right now, but more troops, Russian troops, are still coming to the border. Again, it's a complicated issue, a lot of moving parts. Hopefully they don't break out in the war. We definitely don't want that. Okay. But we'll keep you guys posted and updated about that when more information comes out. But that's all I got. That's all I got. You want to close out the show, or anything else you want to say before?
Sure, let's close out with some Black history, shall we?
Let's do it.
The Republicans just hate these things, so let's kick off some Black women of the civil rights. Ella Baker was one of the most influential activists. She worked alongside some of the most noted civil rights leaders. Ella believed that the bedrock of any social change is not its leaders, but the hard work of the members. Keep that in mind. It's not the leaders, but the hard work of the members. That means us, our hard work. Mm-hmm. So that's Ella Baker. Next, they kicked me off the plantation. Sorry, it's 9:00. They kicked me off the plantation. They set me free. It's the best thing that could have happened. Now I can work for my people. Fannie Lou Hamer. She helped and encouraged thousands of Blacks become registered voters and help the disenfranchised. So that is Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker.
Nice.
Salute.
Nice. Love it. I love it. I love it. That's Black Facts. Well, Black Facts. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys learned something. Definitely check out some of these articles that you guys can check out in the description. That's all I got. I love you guys. You guys are the best. That's all I got. You want to say something before we go?
No, have a good weekend. Mask up. Get your kits if you haven't ordered them.
There it is. And real quick, last thing. This is your last reminder before we go. Please, everybody, hit that like button. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're slowly getting there. We're at 510 right now. So please help us get there. We both would definitely appreciate that. But y'all have a good weekend. Stay
Yes.
warm. If you live in the New England area, there's a nor'easter coming.
Yeah, it is.
Get your supplies.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Yes. Thanks,
Hey.
everyone. Bye-bye.